Have you ever wondered what lurks beneath the surface of your favorite sports arenas? Let's take a moment to delve into the chilling tales surrounding the 1962 World Cup in Chile. The Estadio Nacional, the main stage for the world's most popular sport, was constructed on a site with a rather eerie past, an old cemetery. As if this weren't unsettling enough, players and staff alike reported a series of spine-tingling occurrences throughout the tournament. The echoes of the departed seemed to permeate the very air of the stadium, manifesting in ghostly apparitions and unexplained noises. The echoes of the past became a chilling soundtrack to the games, with the whispers of the long gone seemingly resonating from the very walls of the venue. One of the most horrifying tales to emerge from this World Cup was the sighting of a headless figure. Late at night, after the crowds had dispersed and the floodlights dimmed, this spectral figure was reportedly seen roaming the field. This wasn't a one-time occurrence either. Multiple sightings of this headless specter were reported, each more terrifying than the last. It seemed as though the spirits of the departed were restless, perhaps disturbed by the raucous revelry of the living. The players, renowned for their bravery and prowess on the field, found themselves facing an opponent they could neither outpace nor outmaneuver. The very ground beneath their feet, once the resting place of the deceased, seemed to pulse with an eerie energy. It was as though the spirits of the past were a silent audience to the games, their ghostly presence casting a long and chilling shadow over the spectacle. So, as you cheer on your favorite team, spare a thought for the players on the field. They may be playing more than just a game. They may be sharing the field with the spirits of the past, playing under the watchful eyes of those long gone. Could you imagine playing a match with the spirits of the departed watching you? In the world of sports, superstitions run deep, but what happens when a curse seems to control the fate of a team? Settle in, folks, as we delve into the eerie tale of the Boston Red Sox and the infamous Curse of the Bambino. This is not just a story of a baseball team, but a saga of hope, despair, and the shadow of a curse that loomed over Fenway Park for the better part of a century. Our story takes us back to the year 1919. The Red Sox, a formidable force in the baseball league, made a decision that would reverberate through the ages. They sold their star player, the legendary Babe Ruth, to the New York Yankees. Little did they know, they weren't just trading a player, they were trading their fortune. You see, before this ill-fated decision, the Red Sox had a golden run. They were the champions of the World Series 5 times in the span of 15 years. But after Babe Ruth's departure, the team fell into a drought that lasted for a staggering 86 years. Yes, you heard it right. 86 long, arduous years without a single World Series title to their name. Many fans and baseball enthusiasts started to whisper about a curse. They believed that the ghost of Babe Ruth, or the Bambino, as he was fondly called, was haunting the team, punishing them for their betrayal. This was the genesis of the Curse of the Bambino. As the years rolled on, the Red Sox had a series of agonizingly close calls and heartbreaking losses. Each one seemed to reaffirm the existence of the curse. In 1946, they lost the World Series in a grueling 7-game showdown. In 1975 and 1986, they reached the brink of victory, only to have it snatched away in the most gut-wrenching manner. Perhaps the most horrifying aspect of the curse was the unpredictability of it all. Each season brought new hope, only to end in despair. Each promising player, each triumphant moment, seemed to be overshadowed by this looming specter of doom. But in 2004, the Red Sox finally managed to shake off the curse. They won the World Series in a glorious victory, bringing an end to the 86-year drought. Some say it was the end of the curse. Others maintain that it simply took a break. Whatever the truth may be, the Curse of the Bambino remains one of the most chilling tales in the annals of sports history. Would you dare to step on the field, knowing a curse might be hanging over your team? Sports arenas are meant to be places of joy and excitement, but what happens when they turn into death traps? Today, we journey back to a fateful day in April of 1989, to the Hillsborough Stadium in Sheffield, England. This was not a day of cheering and celebration, but one of horror and tragedy. It was a day when the football pitch, usually a place of camaraderie and competition, became a scene of unimaginable disaster, turning the dreams of victory into nightmares of survival. The stadium was packed with eager fans, excited to watch the FA Cup semi-final match between Liverpool and Nottingham Forest. The air was filled with anticipation, the atmosphere electric. But as the crowds surged in, that electricity transformed into a deadly current. Due to a fatal miscalculation by the authorities, the stadium was dangerously overcrowded, and the terraces quickly turned into a human crush. Imagine the sheer panic and chaos that ensued. The fans, once united by their love for the game, were now bound together in a struggle for survival. The noise of the crowd turned from cheers to screams, the pitch from a battlefield of sport to a battlefield of life and death. Among the chaos, there were tales of heroism and survival. Like the story of a father who, despite the crushing pressure, managed to lift his son above the crowd, saving his life while sacrificing his own. Or the story of a young woman who, despite being pinned against the fence, fought to keep her head above the sea of people, surviving against all odds. These are the harrowing tales of survival that emerged from the Hillsborough disaster. When the dust settled, the devastating toll of the disaster was revealed. 96 football fans, men, women, and children, were crushed to death that day. Each of them had come to the stadium with dreams of victory, only to meet a tragic end. The Hillsborough disaster remains one of the darkest days in the history of sport, a chilling reminder of the deadly potential of overcrowded stadiums. The Hillsborough disaster is a stark reminder of the potential dangers that lurk in the places we least expect. It serves as a horrifying testament to the importance of crowd control and safety measures in sporting events. It's a chilling tale that forces us to question, could you still cheer for your team knowing the terraces could become a death trap? Sports are a source of thrill and excitement, but these stories remind us that they can also be a source of terror. Let's take a moment to revisit the chilling tales we've unraveled today. The first, the terrors beneath the surface, a haunting tale of a diver who encountered a nightmare far beneath the waves. Alone in the eerie silence of the ocean's depths, he was suddenly surrounded by a school of hungry piranhas. A thrilling water sport turned into a terrifying struggle for survival. A stark reminder that the world of sports is not always about glory and victory, but can also be a battleground against nature's most fearsome creatures. Then we delved into the curse of the Bambino, a story that has become an urban legend in the world of baseball. The Boston Red Sox, a team burdened with a curse that lasted for 86 long years, haunted by the specter of a trade that sent Babe Ruth to their rivals. It's a chilling reminder of how superstition can cast a long shadow over even the most rational of fields, like sports, and how a single decision can echo through the decades, shaping the fate of an entire team. Our third tale, The Deadly Stadium, took us to the heart of a tragedy that shook the world of football to its core. A stadium collapsed during a game, taking the lives of countless fans. A sports event, meant to unite people in their shared love for the game, transformed into a scene of unimaginable horror. This tragic event underscored the importance of safety measures in sporting events and has led to stricter regulations to prevent such a disaster from happening again. These three stories, each terrifying in its own right, remind us that the world of sports is not always about the adrenaline rush, the cheering crowds, and the thrill of victory. It can also be a stage for some of life's most terrifying and unexpected horrors. But despite the terror they instill, these stories have also led to changes and improvements in the world of sports. They have prompted stricter safety measures, a reassessment of the importance of player and fan safety, and a renewed respect for the unpredictability of nature. They have served as a wake-up call, a reminder that while sports can captivate us with their excitement and unpredictability, they can also be a source of real-world horror. Remember, in the world of sports, the real horror stories are not always the ones we see on the field.